a.m. You got some good sleep. All right. All right. All right. 10:30. 10:30. Okay. Okay. You guys look more awake. Uh, midnight. Anyone? Midnight. Okay. 1 in the morning. It's when you went to sleep. 2 in the morning. Bella. 3 in the morning. 4 in the morning. Going 5. 6 a.m. 7 a.m. You just woke up. All right, cool, cool, cool. Hey, well, I'm excited to be with you guys. If we haven't had the chance to meet, my name is Johnny, and I'm on staff here in Wildlife. And what we're about to do is we're about to go into a time of teaching, which we say is the most important time of any wildlife service. So, a couple things as we jump into this time. There should be a message note sheet in front of you on those tables. Go ahead and grab those, pull those out, and just wave them above your head so I know that you have one. If you didn't grab one, please do. It's going to be a great way to follow along. There's some fill in the blanks on the front and the back, and those fill-ins are going to be on the screen as we go throughout this time. But I want to ask you guys a question. It's an easy question. And if you answer this question, I will throw or hand you an Oreo. All right? So, all right, here's the question. Here's the question. Oh, did I say Oreo? I meant tuna. I'm so sorry. Tuna. Just... Could you imagine I had like a bowl of tuna up here? You're like, just to be, but I just throw it on like this side. They smell like tuna. Tuna smells gross, doesn't it? Hey, here's the question. If you were given $1 million, what would you do with it? Easy question, right? $1 million, what would you do with it? If you were to ask me, I would buy a house. Adult things, right? It would be a cardboard box. It'd be awesome. Worth $1 million. All right, here's the question. $1 million right next to Bella. You, yes. All right, so tell everyone your name loud and proud. Audrey, guys, let's give it up for Audrey. Audrey, what time did you go to sleep last night? 10? Good, good. You look awake, so that's good. All right, so you had $1 million. What would you do with it? Christmas shop. Oh, awesome, awesome. The whole thing? Very cool, very cool. All right, so Audrey, I have a question for you to follow up. You want me to throw an Oreo at your face? At you? Or do you want to come and grab an Oreo? Okay, you come and grab it. All right. Dang it. I was really excited to throw it at someone's face. Oh, I could have your face. Oh, thank you so much. There you go. Next time we should get the mega stuffed. Those are so good. Let's go with a couple more. Right next to Leia. You, yeah. I love how you're like, that's awesome. All right, so tell everyone your name loud and proud. Aaliyah, everyone give it up for Aaliyah. Aaliyah, what time did you go to sleep? You don't remember you read a book. Reading's good. All right, Aaliyah, so you have $1 million. What would you do with it? All right. You'd buy what? Puzzles? Pug stickers. Oh, fun. Puzzles. I would buy puzzles. That's awesome. Do you want me to throw an Oreo at you, or do you want to come grab? Awesome. Heck yeah. You can't catch it? Well, you're going to try. All right, here we go. This one was not on the floor, I'm pretty sure. Here you go. I'll get you another Oreo. I'm so sorry. Do you want this one instead? It's okay. Here we go. All right, I tried. All right, let's go with one more. You're giving $1 million. $1 million. All right. Let's go right here. Yes, you. Hi. All right. Guys, it's okay. You can go buy Oreos. They're like $1 million. So tell everyone your name loud and proud. Allie. Guys, let's give it up for Allie. Allie, what time did you go to sleep last night? 10:30. You look well rested. Good job. All right, Allie. You have $1 million. What are you doing with it? Okay. A ranch? Like the dressing? No. Okay. All right. Sorry. In Montana? Okay. Cool. Awesome. Awesome. Do you have a ranch now? Well, you could if you sell this cookie for $1 million. There you go. Awesome. Oh, I'm so sorry. I dropped on the floor. It's not my fault. Hey, you guys, go ahead and put your hands down. Afterwards, I would love to hear what you would spend $1 million on, because the reality is $1 million, especially in California, is not a lot of money. It's a lot of money, but it's not a lot of money. Ask your parents how much housing is, and they'll be like, yeah, that's not a lot of money. Hey, so a couple things. Grab that message note sheet. We're going to be doing some fill-ins so that your parents can hear more about what you learned as we enter into this time of teaching. So I want to remind each and every one of us. I want to remind each and every one of us of what this time is about. This time is an opportunity for all of us to learn something hopefully new about who Jesus is, so that we can then experience how awesome Jesus is and we can show the love of Jesus to other people. This time is not a time to be a distraction to the people around you. So what that looks like is talking to your neighbor at the wrong time, being on your phone during this time, just being, just a distraction. Like if you were to light your friend's chair on fire, that would be a distraction to the people around you. So as we enter into this time, I'm going to ask that you respect me during this time. You respect the people around you. If a staff member comes over, someone with a staff badge comes over and asks you to quiet down, or they even like move your seat, it's not because we hate you. It's because we really just want you to focus on what Jesus has for this time. So let's go ahead and pray, and then we will jump in to this time. Let's go ahead and pray. Jesus, thank you so much for everyone in this room. We're excited as we, especially as we start this brand new series, as so many of us have started school. We've been in school for a couple weeks, maybe even a month now. Jesus, we are excited because you are here with us. That your Bible, your word says that wherever we go, you are always with us. And we can have the confidence because you love us, you care about us. So we're asking that you would just continue to be with us because we love you and we want to hear and understand more about how awesome you are. And it's in your name we all said, amen. Hey, well, Wildlife, I want to take you back to a time when I was in middle school. Believe it or not, I was once in the very seats that you sit in. We got new seats recently, but actually back in the day, like years ago, we got new carpet in here, and like the old carpet would have like blood stains and like all this because like Wildlife games used to be really epic and stuff. But we don't do anything. I'm not actually serious. But anyway, so back in middle school, and I think you can relate with me on this. That I think for most of us, when we think of middle school, there's two different types of people. The first person loves middle school. Maybe you are so excited to be a sixth, seventh, or eighth grader, or you're excited to get to the next grade, and you love everything about middle school. You love your teachers, you love your classmates, you love all the classes you're taking. But then there's someone else, the second type of person, that absolutely hates it, that despises middle school. Maybe you're the kind of person that you're just excited to leave middle school and go on to high school and go on to maybe bigger and better things. And I think the reality is that a lot of us try to survive in middle school, but I want to kind of change our perception on this idea of just surviving in middle school to kind of just get through the day, get through the year so that we can just like survive and move on to something bigger and better. You see, the Bible actually wants us not just to survive. Jesus wants all of us to thrive in our lives so that we can live for him. We can share other people how awesome Jesus is. So we're starting this new series called Thriving in Middle School because so many of us, especially if you are a new sixth grader, you probably just started middle school not so long ago. And maybe you are extremely nervous about middle school. Or maybe you're starting to get a little bit comfortable. Maybe the nerves have died down. But I think for the majority of us, we get very anxious when it comes to things that involve middle school stuff. So, what I want to do in this series called Thriving in Middle School, we're going to look at some key tools to equip all of us in this room to thrive in middle school, not survive, even though that is good, but to thrive. So think of it like this. Has anyone ever seen like a Swiss Army knife before? Raise a hand. Hey, if you haven't, we have an image on the screen of a Swiss Army knife. I thought it would be kind of cool. I thought it'd be kind of cool to like bring a knife to like show you. But then I thought that'd be kind of weird. You go home and you'd be like, "Yeah, mom, there was this guy. He had a knife in church, and he was talking about Jesus. It was really weird." So I have a photo instead. All right, could you imagine? But if you've ever seen a Swiss Army knife before, basically a Swiss Army knife, there's different variations of it. But this one on the screen, you see that there are multiple types of blades used as different tools to cut rope or use other things as these tools. But some Swiss Army knives, they often have a little screwdriver to kind of help you kind of have certain tools to equip you for whatever task that lies ahead. So in this series, we're trying to equip all of us as wildlife to thrive in middle school. And this weekend, we're going to be looking at what it means to find good friends. Because I don't know about you, I think friendships, having friends, is so important. And I think the majority of us in this room, we would all agree that friends are important, right? Here's your first fill in. On the top of your note sheet, write this down. On the screen, it says this: when it comes to friendships, it's about the quality, not the quantity. It's about the quality, not not the quantity. So basically, what this means, it's the type of friends that you have, not the amount of friends that you have. That is super important when it comes to friendships. And the reality is that I think for the majority of even adults, it's hard to find new friends. I'm sure for middle school, it's also hard to find new friends as well, especially if you were going to a brand new school. It's like, oh man, I want to make friends. How do I do that? But I even think more so, it's not just hard to find new friends, it's hard to maintain friendships and kind of keep them alive. And you would say, you can even ask like your leaders often too, that it's hard to keep friendships alive because friendships require a lot of work. It takes work to have friends. And sometimes that works really fun, but sometimes it can get kind of messy sometimes. Now, there was a study done all the way back in the year 1980. Someone go, oh, 1980, the average of friendship, the average for people to have close friends was about 5 people, right? That's pretty good. Like I'm not just talking about just friends, like close, like best friends. The average in 1980 was 5 people. Move forward 20 years, I know it's a long time, to 2000, the average actually dropped down to only 3 close friends. And then actually today, 2023, that average dropped down even more to 0. Isn't that kind of crazy that the average for most people, they would say that they don't actually have close friends, but they have friends. And what I want to do is I want to kind of help us understand what it looks like to have quality friends. Because here's the truth, that most people tend to struggle not just with, or not just, most people tend to struggle with quality over quantity. You see, most people struggle having quality friends in their life, but they say they're like, oh man, I have a ton of friends. Something that's really interesting to me, that if you ever follow like an Instagram influencer or a social media influencer or whatever, right? And if they were to ever do like a live stream, like if you like watch Twitch or something like that, a lot of those influencers, and I think this is so weird, they like call all of their like followers that like watch their like their stuff, they're like, hey friends, or hi friends, welcome back friends. And what's weird to me is that I guarantee you those people have no idea who this person is, right? They actually aren't friends, they're more like fans, right? They're not actual friends. So it's so weird to me that I think oftentimes, especially in our culture, we think of friendship as one way, but the reality is that that's really not what the Bible talks about when it comes to friendships. Now, I want to ask you guys a question. Just think about it in your head. That means you don't have to answer it out loud. It's a rhetorical question. Here's the question: what does it take for someone to be your friend? So just think about it in your head. What are the qualifications for someone to be your friend. If I were to ask you, like, hey, what does it look like to be a good friend for you personally? Maybe for you, if you're like me, I would say a great friend, in my opinion, is someone who I can rely on, someone who I can count on, someone that is reliable. In Proverbs, it says this, Proverbs 18:24 on your note sheet, it says, one who has unreliable friends soon comes to ruin, but there is a friend who sticks closer than a brother. Now, the guy that wrote this was Solomon. He's the son of King David. And if you know King David, he's the one that killed Goliath. He became king of Israel. King Solomon was the wisest man who were to ever lived, except Jesus. And he wrote these proverbs to help us understand more about wisdom. And he speaks on the danger of having bad friends in our life. He helps us understand that when life gets hard, a good friend is someone that will be there for you to help you out. Now, I'm going to give you guys like 4 areas of what I think friendship requires. These aren't on the screen, so if you want to write these down, it might be helpful, but you don't have to, all right? So here's the first thing that I think is important that friendships require. So number 1, friendships require a lot of sacrifice. Friendships require a lot of sacrifice. For example, if you have a friend that maybe their parents are going through a divorce and your friend is terrified of what's going to happen next, like what's going to be the next step, where am I going to live, who am I going to be with, am I ever going to see this parent or that parent ever again, and they're just freaking out. If this friend comes to you, or maybe you're that friend and this friend comes to you and is like, oh man, I just don't know what I'm gonna do. And you guys just talk on the phone or you FaceTime for like till like 2 in the morning or something like that, because you just want to hear your friend out. You want to be there for your friend. That requires a lot of sacrifice of your time, which means you might have to wake up that next morning for school and you might be really, really tired, but it's because you were focusing on your friendship with the friend that really, really needed you. So that's number 1. Number 2 is this: friendships require constant communication, a lot of communication. It would be so weird if you had a friend, but you never talked to that person, right? That'd be so weird, right? You're like, man, my friend Nathan, he is awesome. And they're like, oh, what's awesome about him? He's like, I don't know. I've never spoken to him, but he's like the best guy ever. Like, that would be so weird if you guys never talked at all. So constant communication. Number 3, friendships require to grow closer to one another. You see, friendships are this thing that you get to know someone at a very deep level. You get to know their interests, what they like, what they don't like. Oftentimes, you'll find out that you have common interests. And even more, we'll talk about this later, friendships also require, number 4, to challenge one another, which we'll talk about a little bit later. But basically, friends are there to help each other out. Here is a truth on your note sheet, your next fill in, which is this, and I'll talk about it. Show me your friends, and I'll show you your future. Show me your friends, and I will show you your future. This is super important. We'll talk more about this later on, but basically, the people you hang out with is who you will become. The people in your life, your close 3, 5, 10 best friends that you say is your absolute friend, that you can rely on, that you can trust, that you can share everything with, knowing that they won't share it with anyone else, that you can trust and rely on. Show me your friends and I'll show you your future. Here's a question. Think about some of your close friends, whether at school, maybe in wildlife. Think about your closest friends right now. Maybe a couple of names come to mind. Think about those friends. And here are a couple of questions. Do they get in trouble a lot? Do those friends in your life get in trouble a lot? Or another question to ask is, are those friends ever extremely rude to your teachers at school? Or are those friends in your life treat people without respect? Maybe they don't treat your parents with respect. So those are just a couple of questions. Like, as we filter through the friends in your life, are the friends that you say are the closest to you, are they helping you become more like the person God wants you to become. Solomon writes in Proverbs 13:20, also on your note sheet, follow along with me. It says this: walk with the wise and become wise. For a companion of fools suffers harm. Basically, what Solomon says there is, hey, those people that you hang out with, you're going to become like that person. The people you hang out with, chances are you will have similar characteristics to those people. So, as we're beginning to think about the friends in our life, are the friends in your life making you become more pointing to Jesus, or are they kind of leading you down a path that's not so good? Maybe again, if they're very disrespectful to teachers, to authority, to parents, to your life group leaders, if they're super disrespectful and you say that's my best friend, man, I want to be just like that person. You're going to go down on this path in your life that is not good. But if you do have friends in your life that are respectful, that show other people kindness, that are quick to forgive you, those people are awesome. There's this quote, I don't know who said it, but I liked it. So on your note sheet, follow along with me. This quote says this: you will always be the average of your 5 closest friends. Basically saying, again, the people you hang out with is who you will become. Here's the big thing I want you guys to remember. On the bottom of your note sheet, write this down. Super simple, but super important. Who you befriend is who you become. Who you befriend is who you become. Who you hang out with today is who you will turn into tomorrow. And that can be an awesome thing, or that can be not so awesome. It can be a good thing or a bad thing. So, based on who you hang out with, do you like who you are becoming? Just think about that to yourself. Based on who you hang out with, do you like who you are becoming? Do the friends in your life love, and I mean love, to gossip about people, tear people down behind their back? Are those people in your life who you want to become? And that could be a scary question to answer, because if the question's like, man, I don't want to be like those people, then maybe the friends in your life are actually not quality friends, but you have a lot of friends, right? So ask that question: do you like who you are becoming based on the people who you hang out with? Do the people in your life correct you when you make a mistake? Now, I'm not saying like they love just to like tear you down, but like, oh, I can't believe you did that again. No, out of like grace and love and truth, they want to challenge you because they love you and they see an area in your life that's just not good, and they see you kind of heading down on this path. Do you have friends in your life that are willing to correct you when you are wrong? Proverbs 27:5-6 says this on the back of your note sheet. It says, better is open rebuke than hidden love. Wounds from a friend can be trusted, but an enemy multiplies kisses. What Solomon is saying here is that a true friend is someone that challenges you. Challenges you because they love you and they care about you. And they would say that, hey, you are a close friend of mine, and I don't want to see you head down on this wrong path. So I'm going to challenge you. I'm going to correct you out of love and truth. Now, if you have friends in your life that are not looking out for you, are not challenging you, this might sound harsh, but I would say that those friends are not really your friends. Maybe they're more acquaintances or they're a classmate, or yeah, you kind of get along, but they're not your friend. If they're not willing to challenge you because they love and care about you, I would say those are not your true friends. You see, true friendship is someone that is willing to challenge you, to correct you, to encourage you when you need it. In Proverbs, one of the most famous proverbs of ever, 27:17 says this: as iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another. I'll say that one more time, super important. As iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another. Now, I don't know if you've ever seen like movies where someone is like sharpening a blade before. Has anyone seen a movie like that? Like maybe like a medieval kind of movie, like there's knights or whatever. I think for most of us, we probably think of this first image here on the screen. We think of someone with a stone wheel, and you take this blade and you begin to sharpen it, and eventually the blade or the sword or knife, whatever, gets sharper, right? That's what it's designed to do. Now, when Solomon writes this in 27:17, he is not talking about this way of sharpening someone else. Again, this is a metaphor. Please don't ever do this to a person. That'd be weird. But he is not highlighting this kind of sharpening, because what you need to know is that if you were to sharpen a blade in this way, it's definitely going to get sharp, right? But actually, over time, this would actually start to break the blade. Yes, it will get sharp. Maybe a couple years, it still remains sharp. But as you continue to sharpen it through this method, it actually becomes breakable. It becomes very fragile. Now, what Solomon is talking about when it talks to how a person sharpens another, he actually is kind of talking about this way of sharpening. Let's go to this next image right here. So this is a different way. It's kind of more epic looking, to be honest. But this is a different way. So basically, I don't know a lot about forging, but I had a friend in high school that would actually have his own forge, and I wanted him to make me a sword, and he said no, and I was like, whatever. But this way of sharpening a blade is when you get the iron really, 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 really hot, and then you take an iron mallet and you kind of hammer it out to get it sharper. Now, this way is to make a blade super, super sharp. And in the same way, what Solomon's sharing with us is that, do you have friends in your life that they are willing to come to you to hammer out any conflict, any tension, any areas in your life that you need to get rid of, so that you can get sharper, so that you can be everything Jesus is calling you to be? Another way of saying this, your next fill in, true friendship is this. True friendship is willing to hammer out the conflict to make the relationship stronger. That's what true friendship is all about. Are you willing to hammer out the conflict in your life to make the relationship, the friendship, stronger? Now, conflict is a huge thing. I don't know if you've ever dealt with conflict. Basically, what that means is that maybe a friend wronged you in one way. Maybe they accidentally made fun of you, or they accidentally shared something that you asked them not to share. And then you're immediately just mad at them. You're like, how dare you do this? I asked you not to share that. Why would you share that? Or maybe they hurt your feelings in some way. That's conflict. Now, what Jesus wants for all of us is to resolve conflict. And true friendships are those that are willing to hammer out the conflict to make the relationship, the friendship, stronger. So, are you willing to pursue tension, conflict in your life? You see, the reality is that in our culture today, the society around us, a lot of people would rather not deal with conflict. They would rather not make the relationship any stronger. If someone has wronged you, what our culture says, and you might have heard this, or your parents maybe have said it around you, that our culture says that no, don't forgive that person, just cancel them out of your life. Have you ever heard that before? Maybe some of us, but we are in this incredibly dangerous cancel culture in our life, which basically means if someone has wronged you, you can then just cancel them out of your life. And that is not what Jesus wants for all of us, right? Jesus wants us to pursue conflict, knowing that when we resolve it, it actually makes the relationship stronger. Yeah, it might be hard sometimes. It might be kind of scary because you might not know what the person's going to respond with or how they're going to say or whatever. But it's so good to pursue tension, to pursue conflict, but we have to be willing to hammer out the conflict in our life to make our friendships stronger. But what do we do with all of this? As we wrap up our time, what do we do with this? Here's our action step, and it's pretty simple, but I want us to think about it. So here's your fill in, your last one. It says this: choose friends that will challenge you even when life gets hard. Choose friends that will challenge you even when life gets hard. If you've ever made a mistake before, we've all made mistakes. I've made like a bajillion mistakes. So many I lost count. when you make a mistake, do you have friends in your life that are willing to challenge you even when it's really difficult? When you made a mistake and you didn't even realize it was a mistake, you're like, I don't know, I just did that. I didn't know it was a bad thing. And a friend comes to you because they love and care about you, and they're like, hey, that wasn't okay. What I love about friendships is that God doesn't like force us to be in friendships. He actually lets us choose the friends in our life. So there's this quote by C.S. Lewis. If you've ever heard of C.S. Lewis, he's the one that wrote the Chronicles of Narnia. Awesome books. He was an awesome like Christian theologian. He's super smart. He says this about friendships on the bottom of your note sheet as the band comes up. Just follow along with me. He says this: friendship is born at the moment when one person says to another, "What? You too? I thought I was the only one." Have you ever had that moment in your life when you realize someone has been in the exact same circumstance that you have been? Maybe it's a common interest, or maybe your family, your parents have been fighting constantly, and you are scared, and it gives you a lot of anxiety. And you find out one of your closest friends, maybe their parents have also fought as well, and you realize, oh, I thought I was the only one that has to deal with this. And then that moment, like C.S. Lewis said, that moment you realize, oh man, I'm not alone in this. I have other people in my life that are also struggling or dealing with certain things, and you can challenge one another so that the relationship, the friendship is stronger than ever. So, as we wrap up this time, I want us to all think about the friends in our life and ask the question, are those quality friends? Or are you friends with those people just because you want to say you have like bajillion friends? Are those friends willing to challenge you, to encourage you, to love on you? Are those friends in your life actually quality friends based on what the Bible says? Or are those friends actually not willing to challenge you? So, as we go into this last song of worship, I'm going to invite all of us to stand on up, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pray, and then we're going to go into this last song. Jesus, thank you so much for this time. We're asking that you would just help us choose the friends that, man, are quality, that are friends that are willing to challenge us even when life gets hard. As we enter into this last song of worship, Jesus, would you just encounter our hearts to ask the question again, are the friends in our lives quality, or are we just friends with those people because, I don't know, we just want a certain amount of friends? Jesus, we love you. We thank you. It's in your name. Amen.